Welcome to my 2021 bullet journal setup. When I create my bullet journal, it is important to me that I can use it like a normal calendar. I have a simple week layout, but when it comes to my title pages, I go all in. And today I want to show you how I created this year's bullet journal setup. I didn't know what theme I wanted to have my January title page, which is why I made this small mind map. And the first thing I thought about was being at peace, spending a lot of time alone, but at the same time not being lonely. I thought about evening walks and this feeling of serenity when you look at the sky, the stars, the planets, and just yourself and your place in the universe. That is how I decided to have a universe-themed title page for January. This was a very, very quick version of what my thoughts were, but we have a lot of footage to cover. I already taped in my watercolor paper and am getting out my Schminke watercolors. I will lay down my first wash of color mixed with some ink. Whatever shape of the universe you want to draw, you want to get the basic form down first. I will try to draw a galaxy. I have my second wash of indigo. And already start to get lighter towards the center. We are very impatient, simply putting down the color right onto the paper. In the center of the galaxy there is a bright white and to the sides orange light that will reflect off the clouds and currents. I keep adding purple, dark blue, turquoise and white dabbles of paint that are supposed to look like clouds. However, I did not like the overall shape of the galaxy and kept wondering why that was. I took a look at the form and it is not oval enough to be a galaxy the way I wanted to paint it. Also, the streaky background was annoying me quite a bit, which is why I got out my gouache paint for an opaque black background. I'm drawing over parts of the top of the galaxy to give it more the shape of swirling currents. The light from the center will reflect off the clouds, as I said, or the currents at the side. You can use the white light to give your painting more depth. You can see me using two brushes at the same time, one with white paint and one with only water. That can help you dilute the paint when you need it to and save you paint because you don't have to clean your brush. Now you can see me making quite a mess in real time. However, after it's dried, the painting was ready to tape in. I'm debating whether I want to use my Fine-Tech color palette for the January lettering, but decided to emboss it with white embossing powder. I learned the hard way that I should always write out my lettering on the sheet of paper first, before I then sketch it out with pencil and can use my sticky glue pen to letter the month at the top. You can use a dry brush in order to get rid of embossing powder. After using my heat tool, this is what it looks like. I want an overview of the month of January at the top right corner. I'm using my fine uni Polska pen to write down the dates of January. Sorry for this grainy detail shot, my head was in the way. You can now use the Tombow strong adhesive tape to tape it in the bullet journal. We are finished with our January title page. Now, onwards to the weekly layout. I always have timestamps at the side of my weekly layouts. I'm writing these down and then dividing the page up into 6 parts. I am drawing small circles at the top where I will put down the weekdays. What has happened? What has happened? I'm even using a ruler, but it is not a straight line. I try out the calligraphy letters I want to use for my weekdays and decided on this simple one-letter weekday. In a second, I will realize that I didn't leave any space. Oop, there it is, for the dates. They just have to go into the lower right corner. Again, I am using my white fine Polska pen to draw some patterns onto the circles and make them look like small planets. At the bottom of every weekly layout, I have a section for notes, weekly tasks, or simply tasks that don't have a deadline that I don't want to forget. This is the point where I want to remind you this is my very first video. I am aware of the bad lighting, I am aware of the bad angle, and I ask you to bear with me because I did not know any better. The grainy thing at the bottom is salt, by the way. This is the first time I tried this technique and I am going in with a lot of salt. Again, lots of salt. Do I have to mention I didn't read up on how this works? I'm using my heat gun and you can see me melting the salt into place. It did not come off the paper. I don't recommend using a heat gun when you try this technique. But look at the outcome. I love it. I have to do it more often. This is my second wash of purple and then indigo. Always trying to keep it light in the upper right part of the picture where this phoenix-like bird is flying towards. The aim was not to have a perfectly detailed bird or a perfectly detailed background, but rather the colors and the feeling of flying towards a brighter future. It sounds so cheesy. I mixed some white paint into my watercolors to give it a more opaque look for the darker background feathers. Not background feathers, the darker feathers in the back of the painting. You can see I added the tail feathers. I was inspired by birds of paradise and their excessive tail feathers. I had to look up where birds keep their legs when they are flying, and they just dangle there, which looks kind of stupid, but also kind of cute. Some more shadows before we can finally get rid of the tape and start to emboss the painting. Oh, I am very confident that the painting won't rip. Again, I am getting my sticky glue, covering it with embossing powder. I'm again using my dry paintbrush to get rid of the excess embossing powder, using my heat gun to melt it into place. And I wondered what it would look like to use my Finetech silver color. I didn't like it and put it away after only a few dots and brush strokes. These are the final last shadows I'm drawing. And I knew from the get-go I wanted to have a cloud-like embossed part in the lower right corner. I will use a different technique. You can use water spray to keep your embossing powder in place. I am putting silver embossing powder on top of it because I didn't like the look of the white embossing powder on this one. I create some clouds using my dry paintbrush, and after using my heat tool it looked very cute. And this is the final painting. The last thing missing is our 2021 numbers. If you don't have that much embossing powder, you can use the following technique. After putting down the glue, use a dry paintbrush to guide the embossing powder over the paper. Try not to touch the glue, and that way you can use less embossing powder if you don't have that much. And finally, 2021 is melting into place. There is still one thing missing though for my 2021 bullet journal setup, and that is the yearly overview. I'm writing down all the days by hand. And next to it, the weekdays. I accidentally started with the non-English weekdays, but I guess you will be fine. Every now and then you should check if you are still on the right weekday, because you don't want to get those mixed up. What I do is I mark every Sunday. That will help me navigate faster in my calendar and give it structure. I'm switching between a light blue and a lilac Tombow brush pen. Because I'm not big on lettering, I use this very simple letter style. I oftentimes plan way more ahead than I have created my bullet journal. That is why this yearly overview is essential for me to be able to use my bullet journal like a normal calendar, even when I don't have the weekly layouts for the coming months. As I said before, this was my very first video, and I would be immensely grateful for feedback, comments, likes, shares, whatnot you can do with the video. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!